You are walking through a shop, or sitting in the back of a car, or scrolling through your phone without paying much attention. And then a song begins to play. Maybe it is only the first few notes. A piano sound, a guitar rhythm, a voice you have not heard in years. And suddenly you are not completely here anymore. For a few seconds, you are somewhere else. You remember a road you used to walk down, a room you have not entered in years, a person you no longer speak to, the weather on a particular evening, the feeling of being a younger version of yourself. It is strange. You may not have thought about that time for months, maybe even years, but somehow, one old song opens a door. And behind that door is not just a single memory, it is almost an entire season of your life. So why does this happen? Why can a song bring back a version of you that you thought had disappeared? Researchers have a name for this experience. They call it a music-evoked autobiographical memory. That simply means a personal memory from your own life that is triggered by music. And the important word here is personal. The song may sound ordinary to everyone else. Someone else may hear it and feel nothing. But for you, it is attached to something. A bus ride after school. A summer you thought would last forever. A difficult year. A first job. A friendship. A breakup. A quiet period of your life that nobody else knew much about. The song becomes more than a song. It becomes a kind of container. And years later, when the music returns, some of what you placed inside it returns too. This does not always happen because you deliberately sit down and try to remember. Often it happens before you are ready. You hear the song in a cafe. A few seconds pass. And suddenly, your mind supplies the rest. A face, a place, a feeling. You did not search for the memory. The memory found you. That is part of what makes music feel so powerful. Memories can be difficult to access when we try too hard. You may sit quietly and ask yourself, what was my life like 6 years ago? And your mind gives you only fragments, a few important events, a few names, maybe 1 or 2 photographs. But then an old song begins to play. And suddenly, the year feels closer. Not perfectly clear. Not like watching a recording. Memory does not work like that, but the feeling returns. And sometimes the feeling is the strongest part. You remember how that year felt before you remember exactly what happened. Maybe the song brings back a sense of freedom, or loneliness, or the excitement of not knowing what your life would become. Maybe it reminds you of a person you miss, or a person you are grateful you no longer miss. Sometimes nostalgia feels warm, sometimes it feels painful, and sometimes it is both at the same time. That mixed feeling is part of the experience, because when you hear an old song, you are not only remembering the past, you are also noticing the distance between who you were then and who you are now. Think about how music enters our lives. We rarely listen to a meaningful song only once. We play it repeatedly on the way to work, while studying, while walking home, while waiting for someone to reply. Late at night, when everything feels louder than usual, a song may quietly follow us through dozens of ordinary moments. Most of those moments seem unimportant at the time, but the music gives them a common thread. It ties them together. And later, when the song returns, it does not always bring back one specific scene. Sometimes it brings back the emotional atmosphere of that entire period. The light in your room, the route you used to take, the people who were around you, the problems that felt enormous back then, the things you were hoping would happen, the things you did not yet know were about to change. That is why one song can feel like an entire year compressed into 3 minutes. It is not because every detail has been stored perfectly. It is because the song became connected to a certain chapter of your life, and familiar music can become a powerful cue. The brain hears the sound and follows a path it has traveled before, a path leading toward memory, emotion, and a sense of self. This may also explain why the songs from certain periods of your life feel unusually important. There are years when music is simply playing in the background, and there are years when every song seems to attach itself to something. A new school, a new city, a relationship beginning, a relationship ending, a period of uncertainty, a time when you were becoming someone different. Music does not need to describe your life exactly. The lyrics may not even match what happened, but the song was there, and sometimes being there is enough. It becomes part of the memory, like the smell of a room, like the color of the sky on a particular evening, like an old photograph you did not realize you had kept. There is something beautiful about this, but there is also something slightly unsettling, because the song reminds you that time has passed. You may remember a version of yourself who thought certain people would always be around, a version of yourself who worried about problems that no longer matter, a version of yourself who had no idea where life was going. And for the length of the song, that person feels close again, not completely gone, just distant, still somewhere inside you. This is why you should not feel strange if an old song affects you more deeply than expected. It does not mean you are stuck in the past. It does not mean you want everything back. Sometimes it simply means that a part of your life mattered, and your mind found a way to keep it. The next time an old song appears unexpectedly, you do not have to skip it immediately. Let it play for a moment. Notice what returns, not only the obvious memories. Notice the smaller things too, the mood, the room, the weather, the person you used to be. Because a song is sometimes more than background noise, sometimes it is a small doorway, and for a few minutes, an entire year is waiting on the other side. If this video made you think, please like the video and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.